So just like a child or a pet, where you're training a child or a pet, or training a grown-up, right? You want to grade their feedback so that they know if they're doing a good job or not. So this is an important part of AIs, right? Where just like on the previous slide where I talked about cleaning, you need to have a lot of humans doing this structuring of data typically. And you're going to need a good amount of humans also to grade the outputs of AI. So there are a lot of things in the production of AIs that actually require large numbers of human employees, which is interesting because everyone worries about AIs getting rid of jobs, which is obviously a legitimate concern because AI is definitely going to get rid of some jobs. But it's also good to keep in mind that creating AIs and also creating the content that's used to train AIs, right? Literature, photographs, paintings, sculptures, creating all of that content is work that still needs to be done by humans. So there are, jobs eliminated by AI. There are also jobs created by AI. I don't know what the balance is yet. I assume that it will get rid of more jobs than it'll create, but I might be wrong. I might be surprised. The question in chat. Um, so yeah, Robert was asking in chat if we have large numbers of humans interacting in this process, there's massive amounts of bias, right? So definitely there's bias, like I mentioned, in training, because AIs are trained using existing web pages and literature and Twitter and Reddit and things like that, which we all know are cesspools. No, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, both the data that AIs are trained on and this human feedback system, both are subject to tremendous amounts of bias. So I guess really the idea is to just try to be better, right? We just want to try to be better and try to, not create sexist, racist AIs. But that's largely dependent on us, or at least to humans, that there is potential for tremendous amounts of bias in the creation of AIs and the training of AIs. There is sovereign AI. Yeah. So there is a tendency for data to cluster, and a computer can, to some extent, cluster or group data on its own, basically meaning an AI that's cleaning its own data. This is unsupervised. Um, Obviously, this is subject to the same biases as every other step in the process because the AI that's doing the clustering was trained by humans on human data. So I would say, if anything, computer-based clustering is probably more biased than human feedback, just because people are going to, at this point in this day and age, probably try to be less biased than some historic literature that was used to train AIs, which may be more biased. Obviously, it's much cheaper to have AIs training AIs than humans training AIs, but there's a huge loss of quality. One other part of how AI works and how transformers work is parallel processing. Those are twins, I guess. So the idea is that AI splits tasks up into multiple things. That can also be described as tokens, right? So something's tokenized or chopped up into little bits, and then each part of that sentence or request or image are fed into the AI. That's done in parallel, meaning at the same time.